tell us how long you've been in this profession?
So I've been a physician assistant since 1975 and also a PA educator the same amount of time, 1975. It's been a 41-year career. So I went to college, graduated in 1971. I was a history major. I had no thoughts of a healthcare career. There's a little thing called the Vietnam War that was going on in '71, and the draft was still going on. And like a lot of young men of my generation, not all, but many of us didn't want anything to do with the Vietnam War. So I needed to find a way out. And the out that I found was to become a conscientious objector. So the next thing I knew, I found myself doing 2 years of alternative service as a hospital orderly. Being a hospital orderly actually turned out to be a great place to get a look from the inside at all the different aspects of hospital medicine that were going on around me. And it didn't take me very long to figure out that this world of medicine was fascinating, challenging, emotionally rewarding, and that I wanted to do something in it. I went to the Hahnemann program in Philadelphia, Hahnemann Medical College and Hospital, which has since been absorbed into Drexel University. When I got to graduation, I didn't really have a solid job offer lined up, and I was sitting in my pathetic little basement apartment wondering what I was going to do when the phone rang, and it turned out to be the faculty member that I liked the best at the program saying, well, we have a faculty job if you would be interested. I was 25 years old. I had no experience either teaching or practicing as a PA. I knew I was totally unqualified for that, but on the other hand, I needed a job. So after a few days to think it over, I took the job. Well, I'm sure I was a terrible teacher the first year or so. I mean, what did you expect from somebody who was that young and that inexperienced? But I had always had an eye on moving out to Seattle because my best friend from college had moved out here, and he was, broadcasting through letters and phone calls to all of his college friends saying, Seattle, this is a great place. We all ought to move out here, find jobs. I came out and took a look around and visited and said, sure, I'd like to move here. But I couldn't find a job and I wasn't qualified, particularly at that time. And then what happened, ironically, was after spending 3 years as a faculty member at Hahnemann in Philadelphia, I suddenly was an experienced PA educator. And when a job opened up at MEDEX for a faculty member, I was suddenly qualified. So I applied for it and they hired me, and I never left. I arrived in the summer of 1978 just as Class 11 was graduating. So Class 12 Seattle was my first full class, and the rest is history. So when I look back on my time at MEDEX, what I'm proud of or what do I think I've accomplished, certainly I would single out the establishment of the Tacoma training site and being the first site director for that. When we saw that first class walk across the stage 2 years later, that was a great, great moment and a real capstone in my career. I could have retired right then and felt that's a good way to go out.
More reasons to appreciate Henry Stoll. If you want to ask a question and receive a straightforward answer, go to Henry Stoll.
If I had an idea about how to change a course, it wasn't a good idea unless Henry thought it was a good idea. I would want to do a whole bunch of innovation, and then I would ask Henry what he thought, and then he would tell me the 5 ways it was going to go wrong and why it wasn't going to work 2 or 3 years from now. But I really learned and appreciated listening to his perspective because he had been through many changes of curriculum, and he did understand the long-term consequences of making certain kinds of changes.
Henry must have taught between 750 and 1,000 students over those years. And I bet you every one of them remembers Henry. When I run into people who were at MEDEX 30 years ago, and they say, is Henry Stoll still there? Yes, Henry is still there. And they always have something good to say about him and good memories that they had of Henry. That makes a big difference in the health of the community when you consider, take the lower number, say there's 750 clinicians out there that are seeing 100 people a week. That's a big influence that Henry is having on the health of the population.
Do you you want to avoid spending hours of tedium searching for the answers to your objectives, check out Henry's study guide.
Henry has at one time chaired every single course that MEDEX has ever had, and he always brought his organization skills and his transparency of the students to what they needed to learn, and his ability to narrow the topic to the essential and important pieces and not make it overwhelmingly big. And students would often ask us to just make all our courses like Henry's.
Henry develops faculty. He has a really good mentoring approach.
When my family first moved here to Tacoma from Germany, Henry really took us under his wing. He showed us around the city, took us to different cultural events in town, and really made us feel like Tacoma was home.
He'll answer any questions that you put to him. He does not micromanage. He really watches people grow. And I think that's what made him such a good instructor all these years, is that, he has that talent for putting the right things in at the right time.
What a smart, welcoming, and supportive person. I was really glad he was my boss.
If you're looking for an instructor with an unusual sense of humor lurking beneath a placid exterior, I'd say Henry fits the bill.
He doesn't tell jokes a lot, but he does have that sort of slided in kind of humor in situations that's really very acute and pleasurable to his workmates.
I think it took a while. Yeah, I don't think I recognize his sense of humor off the bat.
It happens when we're at conferences and things like that, where he'll make an observation and it'll have that little twist to it.
But now I think he's hilarious.
Henry, congratulations on your 38 years at MEDEX. You have provided a lot of mentorship and friendship to me, which I value greatly.
Henry, congratulations on your retirement. It's well deserved. And I want to thank you for all the years that you've been a friend and a colleague.
So Henry, as you know, I am loath to follow the retirement route, but I am definitely observing.
I also will always remember your words of wisdom. You told me to never forget that no matter what you do, you're going to piss off 3% of the population, so you might as well just get over it.
Henry, I'm very proud to call you a great friend, and I look forward to many more years ahead.
I just wanted to tell you, Henry, that you've touched hundreds and hundreds of lives over the years that have touched hundreds and hundreds of people's lives. And you should be very proud of your achievements and your accomplishments.
I look forward to having a lifelong friendship with Henry, and am honored to have been able to work with him and learn from him and be his friend.
I wish you the best in your retirement, and I hope you'll come and visit us.
Henry, congratulations on your well-deserved retirement. I hope you and Wendy get to partake in many of the adventures that you've undoubtedly put off for the last 38 years or so. Enjoy.